Oh, I got it. Okay, there we go. That probably picked it up, though. I'm sure I was on mic, right? I wasn't? Okay, so we're calling the meeting of the 495 Maine Corporation Board to order. We are in the council chambers of City Hall. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are, and would you like me to call roll?
Yes, please.
Director Adams?
Present?
Director Cervantes?
Present.
Director Ameling?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Do we have any members of the public that wish to be heard? See none? We'll move on to item number 4. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of December 3rd, 2018. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Move approval of the minutes.
There's a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Let's move on to item number 5, discussion for possible action regarding the election of officers to the 495 Maine Corporation Board. Is there a staff report on that? Or do we need one?
Yes, Mr. President. For the record, William Arndt, Vice President and COO for 495 Maine Corporation. The recommended officers are as follows: Scott D. Adams, President and Director and voting member; Gary Ameling, Secretary, Treasurer and Director and voting member; Jorge Cervantes, Vice President, CFO, Director and voting member; and then myself, William Arndt, Vice President and COO, as a non-voting member. That is the election of officers and list of officers for the corporation.
Do I hear any action concerning the election of officers?
Move the slate of officers as recommended.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor of the slate as recommended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to item number 6, discussion for possible action to adopt a resolution to amend the bylaws of 495 Maine Corporation. Is there a staff report on this item?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. President, again, for the record, Bill Arndt. This item is to adopt a resolution to amend the bylaws. The previous purpose was stated as follows: the specific objectives and purposes of the corporation shall be to engage in, advance, support, and promote the health and welfare of the city of Las Vegas and its citizens through the acquisition and disposition of property located therein exclusively for public purposes, or the distributions of the proceeds thereof to the city of Las Vegas or political subdivision thereof for public purposes. We do have a new purpose proposed for this corporation, and it is also addressed in some of the other upcoming agenda items. The revised purpose in Section 2 is to engage in any lawful act or activity for which corporations may be organized under Chapter 82 of NRS and shall have all powers afforded by Chapter 82 of NRS. And then it lists specific objectives in this Section 2. Within the framework and limitations of the foregoing, the specific objectives and purposes of the corporation shall be to engage in, advance, support, and promote the health and welfare of the city of Las Vegas and its citizens, including without limitation, and this is the new information: 1, support economic recovery efforts for the city of Las Vegas and or surrounding Clark County following a public emergency, public health crisis, or economic crisis. 2, provide funding programs to support economic recovery efforts for the city of Las Vegas and or surrounding Clark County. 3, provide strategic guidance to economic recovery efforts for the city of Las Vegas and or surrounding Clark County. And 4, provide other direct and indirect services related to economic recovery efforts for the city of Las Vegas and or surrounding Clark County. So we do recommend approval of this item, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
I think as a chair, I can make a motion, right? I guess so. So I'd move, I think it's pretty clear, the intent of what we're doing is to transition this entity from what its prior purpose was to a new purpose that would be to help or aid in the recovery, and in particular the recovery from the pandemic that we happen to be in right now. So I would make a motion to adopt the resolution to amend the Articles of Incorporation as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. So we will move to, did I misstate on that one? We're on item number 7 now. We were on 6.
Right.
So now we are on item 7, discussion for possible action to adopt a resolution to amend the Articles of Incorporation and modify the purpose and powers of 495 Maine Corporation. Staff report on this item.
Thank you again, Mr. President. For the record, Bill Lawrence. This item is similar to the previous item, but this item addresses the Articles of Incorporation and modifies the purpose and powers in those articles of 495 Maine Corporation. The purposes read identical to the prior language in the bylaws. However, there is some additional language at the end of this section, section 3.01, which is part of the resolution in your backup. And the end of this section reads as follows: the corporation is organized for one or more of the purposes as contemplated and specified in sections 115, 170, parens C, and 501, parens C3 of the Internal Revenue Code, including for such purposes the making of distributions to the city of Las Vegas or political subdivision thereof, or to other organizations that qualify as exempt organizations under section 115, 170, subsection C, and 501 C3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Staff recommends approval.
So I have a question. I couldn't remember. Was the 495 Maine Corporation set up as a 501c3? Or are we just stipulating here in the articles that that's one of the ways in which it can operate? Do we know whether it's a 501c3 or is it just a state not-for-profit corporation?
Mr. President, for the record, Bill Arndt, I'm not certain, I'm not sure if our attending staff knows the answer for certain. I'm not sure that it was required to for its prior purpose, but we do want to make available for the corporation moving forward that it be structured as a 501c3, given the role that it may serve with being a fiscal agent for receipt and disbursement of funds.
So then, is it our intent then to, after today's actions, to proceed with an application to IRS for becoming a 501c3?
Yes, correct. We intend to
Okay.
pursue that with the IRS.
Okay. What is the board's pleasure on item number 7?
Move adoption of the resolution as stated.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Item number 8, discussion for possible action to adopt a resolution to amend the Articles of Incorporation to change the name of 495 Maine Corporation to Las Vegas Economic Recovery Corporation. looks pretty self-explanatory. There's a resolution that simply changes the name of the corporation. Is that correct?
For the record, Bill Arntz, that's correct.
Nothing more to it than that, right? All right.
Mr. President, I have a question. I see on the old bylaws that it says that the 495 Maine Corporation was formerly known as the 400 Stewart Avenue Corporation. So do we then, in the next version of the bylaws, have to have both formerly known as is listed on the bylaws?
Nick Nyarkos for the record. Yeah, we can, it's not essential. I mean, the bylaws will now be the bylaws of the new company. But I think, just for clarity's sake, as people, maybe 3 years from now want to go back and reconstruct anything, we'll just have that at the top of the bylaws, kind of a heading, but it won't really be part of the bylaws. The bylaws we will distribute will show that, the two previous named companies.
And I take it this repurposing is a more expeditious way of going about this name change than starting a fresh, new corporation?
There's no reason to start a new corporation. You have 495 now, and will be the new name, is a non-for-profit corporation. So it would, first of all, it saves money. You don't have to have additional filing fees and additional annual fees. You've already got a board and a slate of officers. So it was the most expeditious thing to do, and there's really no reason to have a new corporation.
Thank you. With that, I move approval of the resolution changing the name.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the motion carries. We'll move on to item number 9, discussion for possible action regarding the adoption of fiscal year 2021 operating budget. Let's talk about the big bucks of this corporation. Oh, you passed that one out, right? That's not behind a tab.
For the record, Bill Arndt, the budget is in your binder. It is a minimal budget. It shows 3 line expenses, auditing and accounting of $2,000, dues and subscriptions of $200, and then premiums paid for insurance of $700 for a total expenditure of $2,900. There are funds on hand for this expense, and we recommend approval.
Could I ask what's the source of the funding for the budget?
For the record, Bill Arndt, my understanding, and I want my staff here is present to correct me if I misspeak, that there are funds on hand with this corporation, so we're able to...
Unspent leftover dollars.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Move approval of the budget for fiscal year 21.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 10 is citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. No subject may be acted upon by the board unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Do I see any members of the public that wish to be heard? Seeing none, I will adjourn the meeting.
No double gavel?
No double gavel.